Good people. This is Anton Willie, your host of Voice of the People United Community Forum. I want to thank all of you who are tuning in with us this evening. I'll be speaking briefly with Newark Mayoral candidate Debora. We'll be talking about what it's been like for her on the campaign trail, talking to residents as he approaches the final stretch of this election season. So give me a second. And without further ado, I'll bring on the candidate. Well, good evening to you, sister. What's going on?
Good evening. Sorry about the delay, technical difficulties.
Oh, I wasn't going nowhere. I was waiting for you. So I'm glad you were able to do this.
Yeah,
I know you've been busy, and I appreciate your time on a Friday. Speaking with me
absolutely.
for a little while about what it's been like for you out there. So first and foremost, let's do some housekeeping. Let everybody who you are, what you're running for, and what your line number.
Okay, I'm Deborah Salters, 1A, Operation Clean House, running for mayor of the city of Newark. Um, you know, uh, Advocate, activist, teacher, mentor, very much about the people of the city.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, and speaking of that, I remember last time you were on, you talked a lot about what the things you were doing, what some of your credentials were, why you were running. So, now that you've had time since then to put out your message, what has it been like? How has it been received?
The people in the city, when you're talking to people, they're pretty much like, now I have a reason to vote. There are a small group of people that would make you think that, oh, it's a lot of people wanting you to vote for this particular person. But the city itself, the people are ready for a real change. They're tired. They're despondent by all that has happened this far, to where they were like, I wasn't even going to vote, but now that you're here and I see you, I have a reason to vote. And that's the thing. My whole thing is giving people hope, because we have a lot of hopelessness now, because the word is, the current mayor has done everything he can to be in office, to stay in office. They're like, oh, he's just going to keep doing it, and it's just nothing's going to change because of the power dynamic. But things have shifted, to where now people are not afraid as they once were to stand up and say what it is that's going on, or to tell their situation or what's been done to them, And so it's kind of, I can't even say a mixed bag. I'm saying that people are actually stating that they're done, they're tired, to where they're telling the mayor's people to they throwing their stuff in the trash right in their faces, because they're just done. They're done with it.
And as you've been out there, and I know I asked, what has it been like, and how have you been received, and once again, I'll ask you, what has been the continual theme that residents that you've been able to meet in contact with believe are the real issues, are the top three issues in North? Give me the most continuous one if you can.
Definitely housing.
Okay.
With the developers being able to displace so many of us, and then the developments that they're making is they're not even halfway filled. The luxury lofts that continually come here,
Hmm.
because the developers that come here are not from here. They're from New York, and they're building New York buildings in Newark, New Jersey, where we once had a sense of community. The townhomes we had built, and people had options to buy at one point, and all of the things that we had as a community are definitely missing. That's number one. The jobs, or the joblessness, along with the lack of home ownership, right? And then the constant lies about, oh well, we are bringing jobs. Where are the jobs? We're being priced out at every hand. So it would be different if you were giving us the jobs that paid a livable wage to live in what you call affordable. Because what happens is, and just to give you an example, with the our area median income, the average income for an average Newarker is between 16 and 36,000, which has gone up to 40,000. Now that's not because Newarkers are now getting more jobs or more high paying jobs. That's because the transplants have come here
Mm.
and their job, their income that they're making has raised that area median income. You understand? It's not because we're doing better, it's because those from the outside are coming in, making more money, which affects our area median income.
So I think that if you look at it, it's like, and not making excuses for what's going on and what you were just saying. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a fair response, definitely a deep response. So I just think that it's like a national model where all of this is going on, especially when you go to major chocolate cities.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that these types of things are happening. Or if you're lucky, a chocolate state.
Right.
um, where these types of developers come in, and they use this opportunity, because it might be closer to transit or a highway or
Absolutely.
something like that. And then I've learned that it also purports itself to the level of industry that is being brought to an area. So like, we have the container ports, we have what movie theaters that's coming.
Lionsgate.
Skate is coming. When you think about it, right? It's a lot. There's a lot going on here. I mean, and even to think about our riverfront. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if and I'm not saying anything negative,
Mm-hmm.
but if we have a federal government building that probably pays no taxes, which it does on a prime piece of real estate on the waterfront.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't really value our real estate. I remember at
It,
one time,
yes.
Newark had about, I want to say $50 billion in real estate and only
Mm-hmm.
taxed 15.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a while ago, so I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't researched to figure that out
Yeah.
now. But it is happening all over, and is at the expense of the people. Just like I was reading that they were talking about this meeting in Andover, where they were fighting against data centers, and
Mm-hmm.
one guy was drug out of the meeting by the police.
Yes.
So I don't know if the article was slanted. I don't know if he was being belligerent or anything, but this is what it's come to.
Yeah.
And what you're saying and what you're explaining to me is what I learned in college, which is that law enforcement, government agencies, the military, they're there to protect corporate interests,
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
consumer.
Yeah.
So and after housing, um what would you say is next on that list?
Um, we have a terrible homeless population, right? But and I said this the other day to them, and I've always said it: homelessness is a business because they get a certain amount of dollars for each homeless person each year, but that money is not being poured into the problem,
Hmm.
right? The only thing to rectify homelessness is housing. But when the money is being taken and put into what do you call it, drop-in centers, which we didn't need another. We had already four of them, but they're building another one. Um, and these shelters that aren't worth their grain of salt. Uh, it's the problem. It's just it's phenomenal. And when you have working homeless, meaning that they go to work every day, we have people who work and cannot afford to live in what these folks call affordable. And this is something that we've been talking to them about. And we had a council meeting the other day. And so now we had what do you call it? They didn't call it a forum or they didn't want a debate. So they made it conversations, the NAACP. Conversations, right? And it was all set up and designed to favor the current mayor. And now he wanted to start saying the numbers that we gave. Now you want to start talking about the numbers for, the amount of the that should be given to the Newarkers, which should be 30%, because actually affordability means 30% of your income is spent on your housing and utilities.
Hmm.
And every time we said this over the years, it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're provocateurs. You're blah, blah, blah. And now to make himself look good, now you're now saying that. I couldn't believe it. I was looking like, oh, I mean, I could, but at the time it's like, yeah, and we can do better about that. We can make it 30%. And we're all looking in the audience like, this guy's got to be kidding. To the point some just got up and walked out. Like, this guy is a clown. Because the things that could have already helped the residents of the city of Newark, and that's the thing. No matter what the law is, their thing is, oh, well, it's not illegal. As long as it comes as close to not being illegal, that's the line they ride. When those who are in charge of Newark and any other chocolate city have the power to change things for the resident, but because they receive funds into their campaign coffers or deals that they've made, they've let us suffer. And that's why my slogan is Operation Clean House, because we need to stop doing dirty business, because the dirty business is what's hurting the people. Right. So so this is what we've been dealing with. And I want everyone to understand that they can change things. They chose not to because it benefits them.
Okay. And so how would you approach development in the city?
Well, right away, there would be a moratorium on all of these tax abatements, which was supposed to be done years ago. This is one of the things that the current mayor ran on. Oh, I'm going to put a moratorium on the tax abatements, which these folks I literally watched the economic, housing, and development person, Allison Ladd, stand up in the council and say, oh, we're going to give this developer $1.8 million due to inflation. What? Yes. And I don't only yell out in the council meeting. And I said, and this is why I said, send her back where you got her from. Because you're not willing to give the residents, the homeowners, tax abatements at any point. Where is our abatement? Where are the things that are supposed to help us in the city? You're giving a multi-billion-dollar corporation a $1.8 million benefit due to inflation,
which is going to increase your taxes
every time.
Every time, yeah.
Every time. And so these are the things. So that's what I would do. Number one, I'm ending that tax abatement business because we don't need it. Tax abatements were designed to benefit the neighborhoods, to have developers who come in, do a community initiative. It was there to have developers come in because we needed help, and it helped to improve the city. These people, like I told them before, they were prostituting themselves, giving away their kidney, your left eye, my heart, just to get these people to come here. But they know what we have here. I mean, I'm talking about them giving away land at $8 a square foot, $10 a square foot, instead of $28, $38, $48 a square foot, commercial. So how do you think we're going to make it if you're giving away, if for an example, if our budget is $1 billion and you're giving away $800 million in contracts, what do you think is going to happen to the city? They've been giving away more than we've been receiving because of their side deals and backdoor conversations. So for me, that ends day one. Like all of this tax abatement business, it stops day one. Like I've been trying to get someone to review the contracts now to see exactly what kind of mess we're really in because of these deals. Is it ironclad? Will we lose money if we try to sue them to stop this? So that's been a lot of what's happening, which is part of an audit that has to take place, right? Not only financially, but with these deals and contracts that have been made. I was talking with someone yesterday and they were like, some of this stuff, we might not be able to pull it back because it's been done so wrong, and I literally was having this conversation yesterday and they were like, I don't know. So that's where we are with that, to see where we are, what can be done because of the damage that has been done with these bad business, dirty business contracts. And that's where we are. So for me to come in, like I come in, get sworn in, immediate audit, at the federal level on the financial, also having the books audited down to the very penny, because some of these folks are fighting so hard for me not to get in is because they don't want what's been done to be uncovered. Because in the words of I can't think of his name right now, he'd be all like,
Frank Hurst.
going to
Frank
jail.
Hurst.
Yeah,
Frank Hurst.
Hurst.
Mr. Frank Hurst.
He's
Somebody's going to jail. Oh man, Frank Hurst. God bless him.
Yeah.
God bless his soul, man. Oh,
Yeah.
Frank Hurst. Oh man. Every meeting.
Yeah.
Every meeting. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have. We got. You know what? We have his spirit. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We have his spirit now with all of y'all. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I asked a lot of people this that are running. Let me say, I always bring up how our school system affects how we're able to take advantage of the job market. I want to word it like that. I want to be careful how I word it. And unfortunately, all institutions are not serving, you know, our residents as best they could be.
Right.
There's always room for improvement. The biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. So, you know, how do you weigh trying to bring, you know, jobs to our community when we have, you know, kids that have graduated with high school diplomas, a good many, according to statistics, you know, that can't, you know, pass a basic skills math test, you know, just 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade algebra. You know, how do we fix that problem? Because as you can see, the apathy is so bad in the city. $1.3 billion budget, only 3,000 people came out to vote. You know,
1.6.
1.6. I'm sorry, 1.6.
Okay. Yeah.
And you know, I just don't see the outrage from the community at the voting polls. And, you know, did anyone ever think about, and I want you to answer the question I asked, did anyone ever think about one regime, 21 out of the past 25 years has controlled who went on the school board? That is absurd.
Yes.
Nobody, that's like saying an NBA team, the organization wins the NBA championship 25 out of 22 out of 25 years. It's unheard of. I mean, I should have bet on that.
Yes, you would have. Yes,
I should have bet on that. So I guess what I'm asking you is, and the board has become very political.
Yes.
Some would even say it's not the Newark School Board anymore; it's run by the county. As some would say. You know, how do you fix that problem when the school board has become so political?
So, you know, and being an educator, so I've seen it firsthand. I'm also a mentor, so I see what is happening. Also ran for school board for this very reason. But when you have a regime, as you speak of, who is comfortable with the 1.5 or 2% or 2.3% coming out, so that's what they do. They have their base, who they feed the information. What's happened is, and I don't know if you remember this, but back in the day, when there were elections, the streets were lit. We're out there, the cars, the bullhorns. There's an election, May 12th, the people were informed. So the way that this regime has stayed in so long is because the people have been uninformed. You talk to people, I didn't even know there was an election. Same thing with this election coming up. But it took grassroots, knocking on doors, meeting people where they are in the streets, having conversations. Oh, wow, I didn't even know. Thank you for letting me know. But see, it's up to us, we the people. But what happens is the fracture that has happened with the community, right? With all of these people that are out here running. And I talked about it Wednesday. And I just, you know, me, I'm gonna tell the truth. You know, when you have people with their own agenda that's not out here for the people, and it's like, well, I'm going to go over here because I'm mad because I didn't get this. So, and I'll give you an example. So for this campaign, you have a bunch of folk who are, what do I call it? The I Hate RAS campaign. They didn't get what they wanted. They fell out. So they're not in bed with them anymore. So now I'm going to create a RAS 2.0. somebody that I could put in office because I want to show him something. I'm going to show him he didn't treat me right. So I'm going to put this person in office, and then I'll get to be like Mitty is to him. I'll get to be this to him. And so when you have all of this nonsense going on, instead of those who fought originally, and the main agenda was the quality of life of the people and not for what they could get for themselves, it was a difference. So because they've been able to fracture the community, instead of working together to get out the rottenness, it's become, well, what? I'm going to make this noise so I can get this. I'm going to make this noise so I can get that. And meanwhile, our children are suffering, like you're talking about. So even with Roger Leone, there's no way that this guy, there is no way that this guy should have been able first to roll over that first contract. But it was a clause that the woman put in at the time, but no one was paying attention to, or were they? And just acted like they didn't pay attention. And then the second go round, you intimidate the newest board member that they put on for this very reason, to bully her into voting for his contract after we said no. And I looked at him and said, no means no. Don't bring this back. And then under the cover of night, when we have no knowledge of it, this is what goes on. So when you don't have those who are watching and paying attention and are ready to make the tough decisions, regardless of what anyone says, regardless, okay, Bill, I'm not going to be invited to the parties or be able to rub elbows with them. It's about integrity. It's really about integrity and what you're really willing to risk for the people. And with the school board, like, and Allison Ladd, not Allison Ladd, wrong person. That's the one for the housing development. Allison James, when she ran for school board, and we ran, and she went to Team Baraka, but she did the thing that I said, which was, if I were a board member, I would be in every school. No one would be getting any rest because they're going to see my face. They're going to hear my voice. I need to know what is going on. You know, we give $400 million to charter schools per year. I don't know if it went up recently, but we were at one point giving $400 million to the charter schools, and we had no say in what was going on. No, we were just throwing money at everything. The vendors for the food that was terrible, trash. Kids can't even eat it, and no one's evaluating. No one's tasting it. No one's having these conversations. And then the children are just left in the dust. They're being taught to test because if we get these test numbers right, we can keep the money coming per student. $29,000 to $33,000 per student. And that's what's happening. Our children are dollar signs now, instead of the quality of education being pushed to them. It's, oh, they'll just let these kids be here regardless because we need to keep getting the money for them. And that's what we've become. You know, our children are dollar signs or afterthoughts. Well, just let them stay in class. Don't, you know, and that's where we differ because, see, I'm calling the parent. We're having a parent-teacher meeting. We're going to discuss this. Like, and I kid you not, I have had more parent-teacher meetings in 2 weeks than most of these schools have had in 2 years. Oh, you're calling the parent? Yes, the parents need to be involved. Because when the parents are not involved, the children can tell them anything. And I had a couple of children that were like, they don't act like this at home. One father came in and he's like, oh, this is what you want to do? He came in with a bag. Now, this person, this young lady had the freshest sneakers, the freshest jackets, the phone, and he was like, oh, this is what we're doing? He pulled out some bust downs out the bag. He's like, yo, give me them sneakers. Give me them. Put these buzz downs on. Matter of fact, give me that phone. This is what we're doing, only because you need to have contact at the end of the day. He gave her some bust down phone. He wasn't playing. But if you do not involve, and then you have some parents, but I didn't have that problem, but you have problems that the parents, my child, you going, and they show up. And it's a whole, but again, I didn't have that problem because it's me, you know, and it's a certain way that we deal. And that's the thing. People don't know how much you know until they know how much you care. And when they meet someone that is genuine and will stand 10 toes down, and they will have the conversation and will explain what is going on and not run from it. And that's the problem. So the problem is not that we haven't had good teachers. The problem is our teachers, our good teachers, our great teachers have not had support. They've been run out the door because if they fail a student, they're penalized. You can't fail them. You just have to pass them. What? You understand? So these it's so many dynamics that we're dealing with. So me as mayor, I'm telling you, I will visit every school. I'm visiting every school. I have a whole plan. There's a certain day every week that I'm going to be in certain places. Because people ask me now, where's your office? I'm like, everywhere you are. My office is everywhere you are. Because you're not going to have to find me. I'm coming to you because I'm in the streets. Sometimes those who want to have a meeting, we're going to have a meeting in the streets. Meet me on this corner because we need to discuss this problem. If we're talking about deals or property or land deals, okay, well, we need to meet outside because this is what we need to evaluate because this is where the people are. You understand? And that's what's missing. I've run into people who are supposed to be doing city business, and I'm out because I'm a biker. I'm out early in the morning. I'm like, oh, wait. And then, like, wait, is that her? And we're both like, did I see them over here? And they're like, that is that. And I made sure I turn around and come right back. Oh, this is where you are? This is why we can't get in touch with you? Because you out here meeting with so-and-so about this property over here, and they don't look like us. So what's this deal you doing? Why couldn't they come down to the hall so we could all see them? You understand? Because City Hall is the people's hall. So if you're doing business in the people's hall, the people need to know what's going on. Not you and your little corner side deals over here. And then we bear the brunt of the deal that you made. Because now our taxes are going up. Our water is possibly going to go up. The re-eval of our properties because you didn't get that 10 million from that developer who owes us money. But because they paid into your campaign coffer or you made this side deal, now you can't get that money. No matter how much we get up and give you the numbers. With me, that's not happening. We're stopping that. We're stopping it. As much as, and like I said, even with transparency, as much as is legally possible, the people will know what is going on in this city because the people have a right. The people are the bosses of the administration. And they've been beat down so long that when I keep saying it, you're their bosses. You are their bosses. You are their bosses. And I'm looking at them saying, I am your boss. How do you make these decisions without your bosses being privy to what is going on? And so it's the mindset that people have to be put back into to understand government works for you. You don't work for them. We pay their salaries. We pay for those cars they drive. Those aren't free. We're paying for that. It's free to them. The gas is free to them. The perks are free to them because we're bearing the brunt of that burden. So the people will be in charge under the Salters administration because I'm not greedy. First of all, I don't do jail. I like being outside. And if I can't be outside when I want to be outside, that's a problem. They lock me up. I ain't never getting out because somebody gonna say something to me and the traitor went across their throat. And Lord, I gotta get outside, So
oh, you shot out. I have a couple of more questions for you. There's been a lot of talk now, in this this race, so to speak. It has been popular in the past. But it definitely has been, taken to a different level in this race. That's about the budget, and whether or not people are knowledgeable of how it works, and whether or not they know what to do with regards to a projected deficit. And seeing that one of the proposals you have is putting a moratorium on tax abatements. One can only wonder, does that slow down development? And if it slows down development, what ratables do we use to help the city pay its bills besides taxes, water, and sewer? and probably slower services.
Mhm.
So what
Excuse
do
me,
you?
what services are we getting that you're talking about slowing down?
Okay, but they might get slower.
How about no services? But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
And seeing as though a lot of people are starting to pay attention to that now. What's your take on it, and how do you address what seems to be looming as it was projected?
Okay. So in the council meeting on Wednesday, the BA had to actually admit, because he was calling me a liar and Felicia, everybody that got up with the numbers, the charts about the budget. So now we're about to pay 40 million more on top of what we owe to the county because we didn't pay them back on time. Go to this past council meeting this past Wednesday and look at it. So, but all this time, he was trying to embarrass us. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Someone running for an office should know these things, blah, blah, blah. But then we have the Congress people and Assembly people coming behind us with the actual numbers that we talked about, blowing through a $78 million surplus, 255 million deficit, and all of these numbers. Yes. So the city of Newark has essentially been on welfare from the state. So the question was asked, so are we going to go to the state again? Oh, no, no, no. Well, we're going to do something different. No, we're not going to do that. And we're looking at properties to sell off. Like we had a fire sale. What was it March 3rd, we had to pay back 32 million, right? We had a timeline to pay back 32 million by March the 3rd.
Wait, hold up, Dad. I'm sorry to cut you off. Please put a pin in your thought. Please put a pin in your thought. Did you say we had to pay another 40 something million?
On top of,
What type
because
of interest is that? Where they do that at?
it bad business.
So what I don't understand.
So
How does that work? I'm
good
curious.
question.
I'm seriously curious.
No, and I know you're serious. And this is what I'm telling you. And so this is the question that I asked every meeting. Give you an example. If you are saying, because he kept saying we're not in a deficit. We don't have a deficit. We're not. It's normal for a municipality to have this kind of debt. But then when we kept asking the numbers, they've been playing three-card Monte with the numbers. Like the money has not been there. Like the city is broke, right? Mm-hmm. But they keep telling us, oh, there's a budget, but then there's temporary appropriations. Like we just had more temporary appropriations on the agenda. But if we don't have the money that we owe already, how is it that we're taking money from what we don't have? So when you're asking what kind of interest is that, this is what we've been asking them. But every time the financial director tries to explain it, wait, stop. You're telling them too much. So how, and if we open request it, we can't get the specifics of what we're asking. But he literally just said this in Wednesday's council meeting. And Gonzalez was like, so how much are we going to have to pay because of what we owe the county and we haven't paid on time? He said an additional 40 million. And he did not explain or break it down the way that we needed it to be broken down. But we have essentially, the city of Newark essentially has been on welfare these past several years because we've been asking the state to bail us out. Every time we had to have a budget, bail us out. So now he's saying now, oh, well, we're going to sell our properties. But that's what you said last time when we had to pay back this 32 million that we owed the state by March 3rd. So he's talking about more bonds. So essentially, your great grandchildren are going to be paying back this loan when they're long gone and living or dead, because they're always bonding us out to get out of the debt that we're in. But again, they blew through a $78 million surplus.
You know what always concerns me about that when people start talking about Newark and a budget deficit is it always concerns me because then you have a cadre of people who try to get their hands on our water.
Absolutely.
And I think that probably is one of the most priceless commodities that we have.
Absolutely.
And I just, it always concerns me when I hear this talk. Because what do you go down to junk bond rating? You don't know the future of the petrodollar.
Right.
Central banking is getting ready to take shape and form.
Mm-hmm.
So that means decentralized banking.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will be digitized. And with that, just with the stroke of a key, that does what? Add more opportunities for theft and destruction.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
it always bothers me when I hear that Newark is a budget situation, a budget fray, because that's when people come out and try to take the water.
Mm-hmm. And
Um,
we've been through that with the watershed. Corey was here. It's just we've been through a mess. Our
mm,
protests with the water, we had to get the NRDC to sue the city because they wouldn't give. It's just been one mess after another, and that's just simply from the people in charge doing bad business, doing
mhm,
dirty business. And I stood up and I've told them, I said, it's almost as if somebody told you a bad deal is better than no deal at all. Who taught you that?
mm,
And the thing is, people from the outside know that Newark is a jewel. They're laughing all the way to the bank when they give away a $2.7 million building for $23,000. And not to you or I,
mm,
right? You give away dollar homes to developers and not to the residents. Then they want to talk about, we gave away dollar lots, but you did not make the path for the residents to build on it. And then you took it back and still wound up giving it to developers. But then the developers who come here and get property, they have a certain amount of time to build on it. And if they don't, it goes back to the city. They haven't made these people give that land back. Why is that?
mm,
Because it benefits them in some way. I'm telling you, the conversations I've been having, and I've been having like literally yesterday, this morning with people who have been in the mix, who have
mm,
been in those meetings. And they're like, I never would have believed it. And these were people that fought me and fought others tooth and nail for Raz. And these people just, oh, you're wrong. And now they're like, oh my God, we were just so, oh my God. But it's too late. You did it and you didn't think about it. So now, how do you help us dig out of this? And some of it we can't dig out,
mhm,
right? Because it was such a bad deal. And it's so ironclad. But I'm telling you, I've been asking these questions and digging and trying to see what we can actually do. You understand, without having to be sued. It's so much litigation because these clowns have, if you look at every agenda, the amount of lawsuits that we have had and that we do have, because they refuse to pay their bills, they refuse to pay the people they were supposed to pay, some type of harassment. See, with the Salters administration, you don't have that burden. That dark cloud that's over this city is gone. It's a spirit. And this is what I was telling somebody, then they're like, my God, you're right. You don't, and I don't know if you believe in the scriptures or whatever, but it's that same spirit that the serpent beguiled Eve in the garden, right?
mhm,
You know what God told y'all. You know it. It's like you know what your mother told you. Didn't she tell you not to let people in your house? She said, when I leave here, go to work, don't let nobody in my house, blah, 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 blah. You got one friend in here. Come on, man. Come on, man. Your mama ain't gonna know. She ain't gonna know, man. Come on, right?
yeah,
Now you know what you were told.
mhm,
And this is what happens, right? What are you willing to do? And then come to find out, you don't know how your mother knew, but she knew. When she
mhm,
got home, she's like, that picture is a little too far to the left. You know what I mean? So same thing happened, but you have those, I'm telling you, and it's a spirit. And if you do not arm yourself, if you do not cover your ear gates and your heart gates, these people will make you feel beholden to them. Oh,
mhm,
come on. This is not what's really going on. Like, you, my brother, like, come on. And they'll make you feel safe and they'll make you, I'm going to take care of you. Don't worry about it. And before you know it, you're wrapped up. So
mhm,
the documentation that you have that could set this stuff straight, you feel a certain obligation to these people, but they never really did anything for you to make you feel obligated other than put that spirit, I call it the mist. you've been sprayed in the face. And now it's like euphoria of some sort. And it's right in front of you. What do you mean? There's a ditch. They're telling you to walk a step ahead and until somebody comes and grabs you, like, no, look, fool. It's a ditch. You're like, oh my God.
Mhm.
And that's what's happening in the city. So
Mhm.
in order for this dark cloud and the what I want to call Gotham, right? That's Newark has been called Gotham for so long because the city is dark. Everybody's walking around like in like oblivious almost. And I remember running for office and talking to people, and they're like, "But no, look, his sign. It was for one of the ward people." And I said, "Wait a minute, hold up. But look at the street." Because they were talking about it was Do Nothing Kelly at the time. He's like, oh, but he's a rapper, he's this, and we're in the ward. This is how bad I'm telling you that that the spirit has just sucked people into this vortex. The streets are filthy, the torn up, the buildings, and then I had to be like, okay, wait a minute, okay, so you're saying what? I said, look at the streets, and then they start looking, and then I said, but look at the building over there. They started looking, and I said, and your quality of life, and he was like, and it was like I threw cold water in their face. And they were like, oh, snap, sis. Oh, you're right. So what has been able to happen is if you say it enough, people believe it. Like that perception becomes their reality. Oh, no, we're going great. We're moving forward. We're doing this. Meanwhile, over here, they're picking your pocket. Oh, man, don't worry about it. You good. Look over here. And you go to check for your keys and your money and everything's gone because they got you looking over here and they're telling you the sky is red and you can see the sky is blue, but no, don't believe what you say. Look over here. And this is what has happened. And so even when it comes to voting, a lot of people are butthurt because, well, I trusted them. And I said, okay, I understand that. And I let people talk. I said, now it's like being in a bad relationship. Do you stop? Talking to people? Do you stop dating? Do you realize where you went wrong? Become more involved in your quality of life and what happens with you instead of just trusting people blindly.
Mhm.
Right? You can't blindly trust anyone. Even the one, because it's generally the ones that you put all your trust in. It's like, oh, I got them now. So I can tell you anything. And then when you tell me your darkest secret or that thing closest to you and I know it, then I know what to pull on. And that's what has happened. So in order for there to be a better Newark, a better day, that's why Operation Clean House is essential, right? Mom made us do spring cleaning. And I don't know if you remember, but we had those metal blinds where you had to clean them. And on my fingers, I would be so mad. And we couldn't go outside. We couldn't do anything until we thoroughly cleaned that house to where you could hear the wind blow through it. It's a different smell. And it's like, you might be mad doing it, but at the end of it, it's like, I'm glad she had me clean up because now I got all this space, things are better and you feel good, right? So at first, when you're cleaning and you're tossing out the trash, you don't really feel like doing it, but it has to be done. Some stuff you're holding on to, you really need to let it go and, unclutter. And a lot of people, change is hard because now you have to realize I've been bamboozled. No one wants to look at themselves and say, oh, I was a fool. And because when you acknowledge, then you have to accept your responsibility in it. You have to accept your role in what you allowed to happen. Because I've had people come to me and be like, Deb, oh my God, everything you said, you told us this 10 years ago, everything you said that was going to happen is happening. And I'm looking at them like, okay, and I'm supposed to rejoice because you're telling me I'm right? That's not what I said it. I said it so that we wouldn't be in the state we're in today. You had power. You had the ability to change things and you just didn't do it. And I'm talking people who are afraid for their jobs, but you've been at the job for 20, 30 years. How you, if they fire you, you sue, but you've been here 30 years. Excuse me. You understand? So it takes courage to do the right thing. It also takes courage to acknowledge that you didn't do the right thing. And you want to make a change. You want things to be different. And I say this because a lot of people you asked me what my journey has been like. And I get this question asked about how is it that the activists that you fought with, shoulder to shoulder, side by side, the ones you fought for, when they were having issues, you and your crew jumped in the car, you rolled up. How you been dealing with that? And they chose to vote for some new face. And they know that you're the one who's been holding the city down. And, at first I was like, nah, but no. I said, everybody's talking about transparency. Then let's just tell the truth and shame the devil. Right. I said, so for me to have that happen, and people have been saying it, yeah, you all these people you help out, and then they turn around and they do the other thing. And that's because they at first they said they wanted change, like we did the recall 3 years ago. Because these are questions that constantly come to me because people have been studying and dissecting us in the meeting. It's not just the administration, they're looking at the activists too. So okay, so you're all voicing this now, and they ask me the questions. So I turn around and say, well, just ask them. Their questions are, so if these people are this serious about getting this administration out, why didn't they stand up for the recall 3 years ago? Why didn't they? Why did they fight you on it? Why were they saying? Because they were saying a lot of terrible things about myself and Miss Akins and the other people that were on the team. I'm not effing with them. They don't know what the F they're doing, and it's not going to work. We got our own recall. We're doing this and that. So, but now these same people are trying to back a new face and make a Raz 2.0 because now they're not in bed with Raz anymore and they fell out with him. So you're going to prop up some kid who's been running on an agenda. Oh, I made this app and I did this, and turned out the app never even made it to the app graveyard. So where did the money go? Where's absolutely? And then to find out that people's information was compromised on the back end, because it's a whole bunch that went into that nobody's talking about. But because you're trying to get back at Raz, you're going to create a new Raz. If we don't want this administration, what makes you think we want your new administration? That's doing the same thing. So this is how my journey has been. Instead of the people who come to me, literally, even at the beginning of the race of the Central Ward, I come to you because you follow through. This is what people say to me. And then you turn around and you go for someone who has done nothing because of a deal you made. And someone said to me, oh, you don't even use your womanly wiles. Why would I do that? When my intelligence and credentials speak for me. Why do I have to use wiles? But that's the problem. People want something. Let me, I'll work with you if you give me this or give me that. But what makes you different from this current administration? Because if you truly cared about the people of the city of Newark, before we got to this point, 3 years ago, we could have saved lives. People have died under this administration. And so for people to jump out here now, this is not a game. This is why when people look at me, oh, you're so serious. Yes, I'm serious. I'm not angry. I'm serious. Because what if it were your family members that wound up getting caught up and dying in this mess? Would you still feel the same today? Would you still want to play the game of you trying to get likes, or you trying to get a better relationship with the mayor, or you're doing this because you didn't get a contract, instead of realizing you're in the way? You're in the way of progress and actually making a change in people's lives in this city.
Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, I want to ask you this, because you brought up a recall movement.
Mm-hmm.
And there were two different factions or whatever. And the reason why they just thought misfeasance, non-feasance, and malfeasance and administration was ineffective. Was the reason why they did it. So with that being said, what do you think about term limits? And do you think we'll ever get them in Newark?
I would absolutely love term limits. I was actually working with someone on that, but we're going to have to make it a referendum on on a ballot or something. We're going to have to petition, because the way it's done, if you need the council to approve it, You think they're going to approve? You know what I mean? Unless we get a new council. That's what we're hoping for now. But I'm all for term limits because that's where the corruption comes in. You're there so long to where it really doesn't matter what the people say because you've made the deals that are going to benefit you, right? Because now you have 2 6-figure salaries, you're getting pensions, you're getting perks, you're getting benefits. We absolutely need term limits. I'm all for it, all across the board. Because, yeah.
Okay. And so let me say the next question that, before we close out, I mean, the next obvious question is, what about age limits?
I don't necessarily say age limits because I've met some 100-year-old sharp folks, like sharp attorneys that are still practicing, still driving. I'm like, oh my God, why don't you just retire? But so I'm not going to necessarily say age limits, but how can I say if you're proven to be inept and don't and are not able to handle business, you absolutely should be out. Like, we need parameters in place, right? There needs to be certain boundaries set up in addition to term limits. I'll say that, if that makes sense to you.
Makes sense. Well, Deb, I thank you for this evening. I appreciate our time.
Thank you.
Once again, tell everybody who you are, what's your lineup, what you're running.
Debora Salters, Operation Clean House 1A. If you want to truly live again, breathe again, thrive again, see the light of day in this city again, and you truly want change, if you want someone that's going to follow through, I am the candidate that follows through. Whether they love me or hate me, that's one thing they're going to say. I don't change. I am the constant in every equation. I follow through for you, your children, your families. So if you want someone that's not going to beg for permission or be apologetic, I am unapologetically making the tough decisions that benefit you, the resident. Then you vote 1A, Operation Clean House. May 12th.
May 12th, come out and vote. There are a lot of candidates out there. If you haven't, I'm pretty sure you must have been in a rock somewhere. But if you haven't done your research right now, by now, go out there and find out something about these candidates. And oftentimes in our community, we think apathy is the way, but apathy didn't get us here. It kept us here. It kept us here. Apathy keeps us here. So, make sure you vote. There was always an old joke: vote early and vote often. Yeah. But make sure you go out there and you make your voices heard in any capacity.
Yes.
Numbers matter. What do they say? Money talks, numbers scream. Yeah. So get out there and vote, everybody.
And don't let them fool you, because a lot is being said, oh, just, it doesn't matter. Your vote matters.
Yes.
Stop giving away your vote. Oh, and let me say this. Mm-hmm. They're now all of a sudden they're giving you hot dogs and chicken and sodas and potato chips. Now they're having events that they could have had 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. Do not sell your vote for a hot dog and a canned soda. It means more than that.
Yes, it does. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Anton Wheeler, your host of Voice of the People United Community Forum. I want to thank our guest, Ms. Debora Salters. She's running for mayor of the city of Newark in this coming Tuesday's May 12th mayoral election, municipal elections. Yes. Be sure to get out and vote. I thank you all for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.